don't think Uncle Iroh is one of the greatest characters ever written because he's wise. There are plenty of wise characters and there are plenty of mentors. What makes Iroh different is that he believed in people long before they believed in themselves. And I think that's something all of us need. Not someone who has all the answers, but just someone who looks at us and sees more than we can see in ourselves. People often say that Iroh saved Zuko. I don't actually think that's true. Zuko changed himself. Iroh simply refused to stop believing that he could. Think about it. For almost the entire series, Zuko rejects his advice. He disagrees with him, ignores him, and there's even a point in the show where he chooses Azula over Iroh. Most people would have given up, but Iroh never did. He never tried to force Zuko to become a better person. He simply just stayed by his side. And sometimes that's all people need. Not another lecture or another lesson, just someone who doesn't leave. Someone who's always by your side. My favorite scene in Avatar isn't a fight. It's when Zuko walks into Iroh's tent after betraying him. You can see it all over Zuko's face. He's expecting anger, disappointment, and maybe even hatred. Instead, Iroh stands up and hugs him, and then says, "I was never angry with you. I was sad because I was afraid you'd lost your way." And that line is so important to hear, because Iroh wasn't worried that Zuko had failed him. He was worried that Zuko had stopped being himself. That's the difference. Real mentors don't expect perfection. They just hope you find your way back. And that's one of the most powerful scenes in the whole show. And the thing that makes Iroh so special is that it's not just Zuko. He treats everyone that way. Look at Toph. She spends most of her life trying to prove she's strong, trying to prove she doesn't need anyone, and then she meets Iroh. He doesn't tell her how to fix her life. He simply just listens, and sometimes being understood is more powerful than being given advice. The older I get, the less I admire Iroh for his wisdom, and the more I admire him for his kindness. Maybe that's why we all love Uncle Iroh. Not because we wish we were as wise as him, but because at some point in our lives, we all needed someone like him. It could be a teacher, a coach, a friend, just someone who saw who we could become before we ever did. And maybe that's the real lesson Iroh leaves with us. The greatest thing you can give another person isn't the right answer, it's the belief that they'll find themselves. And that's why I think everyone needs an Uncle Iroh. And you could also be an Uncle Iroh as well. Be the person who sees the best in others before they learn to see it in themselves.